Hello, welcome to Insights in Action with Orange 142, where we interview agency leaders and business owners to uncover the journeys, the strategies, and the insights that drive their success. At Orange 142, we're all about transforming brand stories into impactful digital experiences through innovative media and marketing solutions. And today I'm very lucky to be joined by Andrew of SoCal Digital Marketing. How's it going, Andrew?
Going well. How about you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Can't complain. Good Tuesday out here in Southern California myself as well. So, Andrew, I would love to just start this off and learn a little bit about your background and a little bit more about your agency.
Yeah, so my agency started in 2012. Like over the years, we've probably helped over like 100 different businesses, mostly here in Southern California, but I have helped people that found me, online through SEO searches from the United Kingdom, India, and, throughout the United States.
Wow, that's awesome. And so you express a passion obviously for marketing and entrepreneurship. And I think, off camera you mentioned having started three businesses with SoCal digital marketing being like your primary focus for the past 12 years. What experiences from your previous ventures have influenced your approach to digital marketing? And how does that like contribute to the success of the company?
Yeah, I think the first one, I was actually in college and I did like a barbecue cleaning business where I would go around neighborhoods asking to clean barbecues. One thing that I found was it was kind of easy to get started to set up a DBA, kind of do the marketing. I was surprised how good the conversion rates were. But then I quickly realized after doing that several times, I'm like, oh, this is a lot of work. It's
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
Um, so another business I created was selling products, which that was great as well. But over time, you kind of really have to scale to make a lot of money. So again, that's kind of where I fell into like digital marketing, where I
Yeah.
realized this is like the perfect blend of I'm passionate about it. I've always enjoyed marketing. I've always enjoyed computers. It was a really good blend. And then it was much easier than the other businesses that I did. And I also feel like a lot more impactful, like generating leads for businesses or sales, that's like the lifeblood and they need it. And I quickly realized that this was like a nice skill to be able to help small and medium-sized businesses.
Yeah, for sure. And so, you prefer working with clients who appreciate the intricacies of SEO and are committed to long-term campaigns that often, yield the best results. I mean, how do you educate clients about SEO strategies?
Yeah, so I mean, every client's kind of different. Like some have no idea and they don't want to learn anything. So I kind of give them a quick overview of how everything works. So I tell them about the on-page SEO. We got to identify keywords that actually have search volume through Google's keyword tool. And then we optimize your website. And I kind of give them a quick run through of how that works. And then I give them the run through of the importance of creating links from other different outlets, such as like press releases, YouTube videos, blogs, local directories, and how that's helpful as well. Other clients actually like it seems like it's 50-50, like half kind of know enough and they get really interested. And I try to just answer all their questions and educate them on how it works.
Gotcha. And so what type of role does like client understanding play in the success of these campaigns?
I think it's like one of the most important things. If I have clients, like, I mean, this just happened like a month ago. I got a brand new client. He was super eager to get started. I kept telling him it takes 3 to 6 months for SEO, especially. I mean, you could do Google ads, which is instant gratification, but you're spending money right away. Whereas SEO, it's more of a long-term investment. Did all the on-page SEO, got started on the link building, and after month one, he said, "Where are the leads?" And I was like, as I mentioned several times before, it takes 3 to 6 months. You're not on page one yet. No one's finding you. So that person, canceled their contract after 1 month, which I don't think any SEO company can really generate results that quick. Whereas I have other clients that have been with me for 9 years, 7 years. We're targeting over 120 keywords on one of their campaigns. They're ranking for 98 of them on page one. So we
Oh,
kind of started with like a small batch, usually of like depending on the tier, we do 10, 15, or 20 keywords to start with. But
Hmm.
once you're on page one for that initial set, we keep adding more and more. So the clients that have been with me for longer, they can rank for a lot of keywords organically, and the price pretty much remains the same. So it's a long-term investment strategy.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why a lot of, I'm not saying that it's not successful, but a lot of agencies that just do SEO, it's a hard sell when you're doing like things like cold outreach and stuff and you're just an SEO agency. It's really hard because you really have to, most people don't switch their SEO agency unless it's like going terribly, and they really need to find a switch. But it's just like you really have to explain to your clients that, hey, this is one of those things where we're going to invest into it a lot, and it's going to be the gift that keeps on giving later down the road. And I think that you're right that success or that understanding is like the main factor of success for you and your clients later down the road, right?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of trust involved. So I try to, do monthly or depending on the campaign level, even weekly calls to kind of keep them up to date on all the changes that are going on, viewing the ranking reports. So I think that plays a key role is as long as they can see progress, like I was started on page 10, now after month one on page, 6 and 7. So as long as they can see that progress, I think that kind of establishes that relationship where they're willing to do it for the long run.
Right. And so for you, you've had over a decade in the industry. I mean, how has social or SoCal digital marketing adapted to the rapidly changing digital marketing landscape? Like, things have changed so much in the past 10 years even. I mean, how do you guys stay, on top of these trends?
So there's been big trends
Mhm.
throughout the years, but I would say in my opinion, the largest trend happened at the end of, I think 2023 when ChatGPT came out. Within like a week, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is going to change so much. I
Yeah.
was hiring a lot of content writers to create blogs, write press releases, even like web page content. But once you get very good at using AI, like content generation tools, I don't even use those writers anymore, which, it's sad for certain industries that they're struggling, but these tools are just so good. And so I would say, other than my rank tracking software, which is the first thing I log into, the second thing is ChatGPT and Google Gemini. Those things play a big role in creating content, and not only just content. I've even asked Google Gemini, I went straight to the source. What are like the best SEO strategies? Then it gives you kind of like a list that was pretty generic. So I said, what are more advanced? And I kept digging deeper and deeper. And like you're kind of, I would hope it's coming from Google. You're going straight to the source of what is it that Google would like us to do to optimize client websites for the best ranking results. And I actually found some golden nuggets by doing that. So I'm now kind of also using these tools almost as like a research assistant.
Wow. And is that where you're like when you're using them as this kind of research assistant rather than having them actually replace tasks, is that where you're seeing the most tangible results for your clients?
I would say first it's the rapid content generation. Make sure to have a human eye edit it and fact check, make sure it's, worded in like a good way for the target audience. That's really key. But after that, yeah, I think it's the research and kind of troubleshooting. Even you could get technical site audit answers from these tools. Whereas before, I'd have to Google something, review forum links, kind of test it out based off of other people going through the same struggle. Now, I kind of just open up ChatGPT or Google Gemini and I say, hey, this client's on Squarespace and they're having this issue with a plugin or whatever it is. And I mean, 9 times out of 10, it gives me the exact answer on like how to fix it. So it's very quick.
I see most agencies, SEO agencies, like the big thing was like, hey, we'll give you one article, one SEO article per week or one blog post per week that's like SEO optimized and it's going to be $2,500 a month, whatever it is, right? But now you're talking about like rapid content creation. So does that kind of change the way that you guys do things? And is there an actual benefit to like whereas you could only maybe create 4 because that's the amount of employees that you could dedicate to creating these. Now you can create like 20. Is there a tangible benefit on SEO by doing that now?
Yeah, you basically, yeah, it all came down to if a client was willing to pay for a lot of articles in the past, then I can hire content writers to help me because I've got over 30 clients, so I can't be creating that many blogs or press releases or web pages a month. So I was hiring writers to do it. Well, you can't do an infinite amount like you could with ChatGPT or Google Gemini. Like there's a cap on that. So now that we don't have to pay those writers and it's even faster just to instead of creating an order and kind of explaining what the writer should be creating the content on, you just plug it into ChatGPT and it creates the article faster than like just ordering it.
Wow.
So yes, all my clients are getting a lot more content, a lot more blogs, a lot more web page content. I'm still reviewing and making sure it all makes sense, and then they review it as well to give it that human touch. But yeah, I think content generation is like at light speed compared
Wow.
to what it was even like 3 years ago.
And is that rapid content generation generating results faster for clients?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because that's what Google like so from my perspective, I always try to think, what does Google want?
Yeah.
Google wants to rank websites that give their users the best answer. So what they mostly say is good content, answer somebody's question. One of those golden nuggets that I was referring to earlier that I found through Google Gemini is the layout. Make it easy to read for the design. So
Mm.
have subheadings, have bullet points, bold important words, italicized important words, add images, add videos. So make it easily readable for their users. So my clients' web pages are getting much more content updated frequently.
Yeah.
They're creating longer pages. It's almost like we just have an infinite amount of content that we could create and publish. As long as there's a purpose behind it, I
Yeah.
think Google does improve rankings. I've
Yeah.
seen it.
And I mean, that's awesome, right? But you're right, though. You still need a human eye on it. And I think that's the way that, especially as AI becomes more and more of a thing, it's having the experts with their eyes on it and making adjustments and knowing when to put things, where to put things. That's where the real value of agencies are going to come from as it relates to AI. So it's never going to be this thing that replaces. But now, you can go in and be like, okay, these are the keywords that I need to make sure that you rank, and I'm going to make sure that they're in there in a natural way. That might not be something that an artificial intelligence can do quite yet, but you can, and there lies your value, right?
Exactly. I actually have like a real world example of this. One of my clients that sells e-commerce products, they're very smart. They're really using ChatGPT, and I provided them SEO content and they kept having pushback. They're like, "No, I don't want to. It's got too much marketing in there. Like I'll use it my way." Granted, their content was very well written. They were using ChatGPT, but then going in and adding nuances to it themselves. Then after a phone call, I'm like, why do you not want to put our keywords that we're targeting in here? And he goes, well, I've gotten these set of keywords that I'm like writing for, and I think that they're more important. So he sends that list over. And on Zoom, we go to the Google keyword tool. I put the entire list of keywords that he's going after and creating an entire website of content for. Not one keyword had search volume in the
Wow.
entire United States because it's a product. So I use the whole US and they're like, oh. So I plugged in my keywords and I showed them all the search volume and the thought process behind it. And so now all the content I created is now getting implemented on the website. So yeah, real world example of what you just said.
Right. That's so cool. Andrew, this has been awesome, very informative and enlightening. I mean, where can people learn more about you and where can people learn more about your agency?
Yeah, so I think the best place is my website, which is www.socaldigitalmarketing.com. From there, you can find links to my social media and my YouTube channel.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being on. Thanks for your time today.
All right, thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
You too.